Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without saying anything at all? They don't argue, they don't demand attention, they simply pull back, and suddenly everything feels different. People grow uneasy, the energy changes, conversations feel heavier. Now imagine if you did the same. What if instead of reacting instantly, you chose stillness? What if instead of explaining yourself, you allowed silence to speak? The moment you stop being constantly available, emotionally, mentally, energetically, something begins to crack in the world around you. Because people don't just connect to who you are, they connect to how you respond, your habits, your guilt, your predictability. And when you no longer behave the way they expect, they lose their grip on you. That's when things get interesting. Most of us were trained to be accessible. From childhood, we learned that being good meant being reachable, agreeable, and accommodating. We learned to answer quickly, to avoid conflict, to say yes even when we wanted to say no. Over time, we were taught that our worth depended on how available we were to others. But here is a truth rarely spoken clearly. Constant availability does not create love, it creates entitlement. When people know you will always show up, always respond, always explain, they stop valuing your presence. They begin to use it. They treat you like an emotional convenience, something to lean on when they feel empty, stressed, or bored. And when you finally step back, they don't feel hurt. They feel deprived. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted by the world. This mask is what keeps us overgiving. It is the part of you that says, don't disappoint them, don't be difficult, don't be rejected. So you say you're fine when you're not. You respond when you're exhausted. You keep explaining yourself even when no explanation is owed. And slowly, something happens. You disappear from your own life. You become so busy maintaining relationships that you abandon your relationship with yourself. That is the hidden cost of being too available. Every emotional reaction costs energy. Every unnecessary argument. Every message you didn't want to answer. Every time you kept the peace by betraying your truth, that energy does not come back. Over time, it turns into fatigue, bitterness, and a quiet sense of being used. Jung believed the psyche works like an energy system. Whatever you constantly react to gains power over you. The more you defend yourself, the more you stay trapped. The more you explain, the more you remain emotionally attached. That's why silence is so powerful. Not silence from fear, but silence from awareness. When you stop reacting, something shifts. People who once felt comfortable using you start to feel uneasy. Those who relied on your emotional availability suddenly feel exposed. Some will try to provoke you. Some will accuse you of changing. Some will create drama just to pull you back into the old pattern. Not because you are wrong, but because you are no longer predictable. And unpredictability threatens those who depended on your compliance. This is where projection enters. Jung explained that people project their unresolved inner conflicts onto others. When you are emotionally open and always present, you become the perfect surface for these projections. People don't see you, they see what they need you to be. The rescuer, the listener, the emotional support. But when you withdraw, those projections collapse, and suddenly they are forced to confront themselves. That discomfort is why people resist your boundaries. Your silence forces them to feel what they were avoiding. Silence is not weakness. It is the decision not to waste energy on what does not nourish you. When you do not immediately reply, when you do not rush to explain, when you walk away instead of engaging, you reclaim your power. You stop feeding dynamics that were draining you. You stop keeping emotional ghosts alive, and something new begins to grow. Of course, there is a price. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You may feel lonely. But what you lose are often the relationships that depended on your self-neglect. What you gain is clarity, peace, self-respect, the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needs to be approved to exist. This is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming who you really are, not who others needed you to be. It requires distance. It requires solitude. It requires the courage to disappoint people who benefited from your old self, but it leads to wholeness. When you stop being endlessly available, your world becomes smaller, but it becomes real. No more emotional crumbs. No more forced connections. No more staying where you are unseen. Only what aligns with your peace remains. And that is where true strength lives. Because when you no longer give yourself away to be loved, you finally become someone who cannot be controlled. And that is when everything changes.